Chapter 4: From Linear to Circular Business Models. In this chapter, we'll talk about how to adapt the method of the business model canvas to integrate sustainability concerns. Secondly, we'll introduce a web tool which helps to integrate the circular business strategies introduced in Chapter 1 into the business model. As already highlighted previously, business models need to look at different types of value. Social, environmental, and long-term economic considerations need to be integrated into the understandings of business models. In this chapter, we want to consider questions to be used in the design process of business model innovation that broaden the understanding of the business model elements and draw the attention to these matters. With the value proposition at the very heart of every business model, the value proposition must also look at the environmental and social value that it produces and how this can be measured. Another important question to pose is how the created value affects other stakeholders beyond just the customers. Here, negative impacts or value destructions need also to be integrated. The key question to consider on the front-end side of the business model is how value can be captured after or within the use phase. Linear business models are often one-directional, meaning that products are sold to customers without ever coming back. However, many of the top-hill and downhill strategies require loops and therefore also require new channels. On the back-end side of the business model, the key resources used are important to consider in terms of their environmental impacts. This especially accounts to energy and resource-intensive industries and the use of scarce and non-renewable resources. The question then becomes how these can be used more sustainably. The circular economy model emphasizes the importance of collaboration in the value chain to enable the desired product cycles. Therefore, the question of how key partners can be better integrated in the value chain is important to consider. The costs and revenues of business models must be understood more broadly in terms of their environmental and social dimension. This means these elements must also consider effects such as the carbon footprint, resource depletion, as well as social criteria, such as employee happiness and health. Life cycle assessment provides a powerful tool to integrate these dimensions into the decision-making process. In terms of the revenues, the most important question to pose relates to the decoupling of environmental effects from financial revenues. The question to ask yourself is how revenues can remain high while fewer resources are used. After discussing the effects of sustainability on the business model in general terms, the question becomes how the design of a more circular business model works in practice. For this purpose, we have developed a web tool called Circular Economy Strategist, which is freely available on the Catchy website. The goal of the tool is to provide guidance through the whole business model design process. The tool application follows a four-step process. The first step is to describe the current business model with the traditional business model canvas framework. In step 2 of the tool, you are asked to evaluate different value capture opportunities for your product system. The opportunities relate to the whole product life cycle, from the choice of materials until the end-of-life phase. Dependent on your evaluation, the tool will propose the best-fitting circular business strategies for your product system and provide best practice examples. It also shows which design strategies are important to maximize the value of the business strategies. After you have chosen fitting circular business strategies, where you are encouraged to follow up more than one opportunity, you are redirected to the business model canvas template. This new template will highlight typical influences related to the chosen strategies which need to be considered in the design of the new business model. If you have filled out the original template in step 1, these fields will be imported. You are now invited to further redesign your business model by adapting the generic influences to your particular needs. We propose to use the tool for the last assignment. Draft a circular business model with the help of the Circular Economy Strategist and try to integrate the questions addressed in this chapter. You can also use the additional resources provided on the CACHI website, especially the Business Models module.